what does he do? He takes him and gets him clothed and takes him to a place to furnish to him a place to stay, and tells the innkeeper, whatever charges are incurred during this time, let me know and I will take care of it. So we are to be clothiers, so to speak. And in Colossians 3:12, let's turn there. Again, do not drift on me. I know this is kind of, in a sense, beating a dead horse. But it's revelation. I mean, did you ever really stop to think all the things that are in the Bible about clothing all together at once? I had never. And when I was thinking about this, I'm like, well, this has got to be a message soon. Because it's important that we get revelation on this stuff, because it changes the way we think when we go out into the world. Therefore, as God's chosen, this is Colossians 3:12. As God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves, what? With compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. And bear with each other and forgive whatever grievances you may have against one another. Now, is that your immediate response when someone cuts you off in traffic? It's not mine. I have been put in a position where I have to commute an hour and a half. It's turning into 2 hours every day, 2 ways, there and back. 4 hours total. And I am just not the type of person that ever thought that I would tolerate this kind of lifestyle. I'm a country boy, and I'd rather be sitting in an apple tree than cussing people on the road. And so I'm in a position each and every day now of having to get my road rage spirit under control. But I'm telling you, that world out there is getting more and more Babylon. And I don't know what happened, but a year ago, my commute is the same length, but it was fairly smooth. But now the traffic has, it seems like, doubled, if not tripled. And every day there's an accident. And it's just like I've seen something changing, and I don't know what. But there's a lot of people that I wish would stay home. All right. Now look at Isaiah 58:7. I'm basically giving you no excuse to what we're about to make an appeal for. Not that you would ever give us an excuse. But this is an account of what true fasting is. And in 58:6, Isaiah 58:6, it says, "Is not this the kind of fasting I've chosen, to loose the chains of injustice and untie the cords of the yoke, to set the oppressed free and break every yoke? Is it not to share your food with the hungry and to provide the poor wanderer with shelter? When you see him naked, to clothe him, not to turn away from your own flesh and blood?" What happens? "Then your light will break forth like the dawn, and your healing will quickly appear." We are to clothe the naked. Take a look at James 2:15. "What good is it, my brothers, if a man claims to have faith but has no deeds? Can such faith save him? Suppose a brother or sister is without clothes and daily food. If one of you says to him, 'Go, I wish you well, keep warm and well fed, live long and prosper,' but does nothing about..." That was a joke, right? I just want to, it's not that I expect you to laugh, but I want to make sure you know that that is not in the Bible there. There's no live long and prosper in the Bible. Well, it is a Jewish priest's blessing, but it's not the Spock version. If one of you says, "Go, I wish you well, keep warm and well fed," but does nothing about his physical needs, what good is it? In the same way, faith by itself, if it is not accomplished by actions, is dead. So we're to clothe our neighbors. And one day we will be clothed with fine linen, depending on how good of a job we've done. Revelation 3:18. I counsel you, this is 18, I counsel you to buy from me gold refined with fire, so you can become rich, and white clothes to wear, so you can cover your shameful nakedness, and salve to put on your eyes, so you can see. And finally, Revelation 16:15. There is light at the end of the tunnel here. Behold, I come like a thief. Blessed is he who stays awake and keeps his clothes with him, so that he may not go naked and be shamefully exposed. Well, I'm going to tell you how we're supposed to do that. In Matthew 25:38, we're segueing now into some practical application. Anybody figure that I was going to set you up for this? Sure I was. And I take no credit for any of that. I shouldn't say it that way. God has been working on me. There's one thing that God has been working on me about, and He said that this year I need to learn to be a very extravagant giver. Because we're in a place right now where we are going to be confronted with opportunities to give, and if we're tight-fisted in people's times of need around us, we are missing opportunities to be everything that we've been seeing that we are to be. We are clothed for a reason. All right, so listen to this account. You know this one. It's the account of the sheep and the goats. Do you want to be a sheep or a goat? That's not a rhetorical question. You better answer this question in your heart, because Jesus says, here is the difference. When the Son of Man comes in His glory and all the angels, and by the way, I'm not trying to put a guilt trip on anybody tonight. You may feel like this is a weight, but far from it. I'm just trying to get myself, and you with me if you want to go on the journey, aware of this powerful thing that God wants to do through us, especially in these end times. And that we can't have this idea, like, here's one thing, all the stuff that's been going on in the Ukraine, what are Americans most upset about? Gas prices, right? But think about the people that are over in the Ukraine. It's far more serious to them right now than gas prices, right? And I'm guilty of this. When I wake up in the morning, I don't just jump on the Ukraine train. I find myself being more upset about gas prices than realizing how this is. We watch from thousands of miles away across an ocean, and it's almost just like we're watching TV about something. And we watch so much TV, unfortunately, in our culture that it's very hard to really understand how real this is. This is not a virtual reality game. There are people that are suffering. I was looking at some of the news, and there's a lady, Ola, and she had to leave Ukraine as a refugee and go to Moldova. And she took her 5 kids with her, but her husband could not go with her. Why? Because Ukraine has made it a mandate that men of the ages 18 to 60 cannot leave the country. So even if they want to leave and want to go with their family and protect their family, they cannot go. But they have, if they're smart, they have the opportunity to send their family out of Ukraine. But what does that do? Puts women and children in a position of vulnerability. And thank God that there's people in Moldova that are welcoming these refugees. Over 30,000 of them in that country alone. So this lady Ola is talking about how here she is, defenseless, trying to care for 5 kids. And it's not like, a single mother here in America. She has been transplanted into a place where she has nothing, knows no one, and has no means to protect the 5 kids that she is watching over, and her husband is off somewhere else. I don't know if you saw the little boy that was crying in this little interview, and he was saying, we were thinking, he's crying, should break our hearts. He's telling the reporter, we thought we were going to be walking around with nowhere to go for days. And here's these people in Moldova that are meeting the refugees at the border and immediately taking them to places where they can be clothed and fed and sheltered. But this little boy is crying and he's saying, my dad had to stay back. Think about how tragic this is. And he's staying there. He says, what did he say? He said, Dad will be selling things. I wonder what he means by that.